Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John and this video is going to be a very different one. I don't know if anyone saw my recent post on Facebook where I talked about the fact I was going to make this video about my experiences with social anxiety. This is the video about that. Now, as a sort of on Facebook, what I was doing was I was putting, before I did my YouTube channel, I was putting some sort of daft sort of videos on, and this video was always going to be one of them. So then YouTube took off and I sort of put this on a back burner, but I always knew I was going to return to it just when I thought the time was right. And I think the time's pretty right now, and I'll tell you a few reasons why about that. But first, what I'll do is I'll probably go back to my sort of history and tell you a little bit about what I sort of think about this. I'm going to call it a problem. I'm not calling it a condition or anything like that. This video is not for sympathy. It's not for anybody taking pity on me at all. It's not for subscribers. I'm doing very well with subscribers, so I don't need that at all. I think it might look like that if I'd done it early on. Somebody might have thought, oh yeah, this is just him going for more subscribers. It's not for that. It's not for anything as it all. It's just for to help myself and also help others, basically. If anybody's like I thought I was the only person in the world who felt like this at a certain point. And then when I sort of got the revelation of what this was, I thought, wow. And then I started to tell people to say, oh, by the way, this is the thing. And I think it helped a lot, actually. And I hope that this video is going to help me as well. It's going to help me to sort of progress a bit further down the line. And also, if anybody else is watching this video, they might feel the same way. And they might know, oh, hang on a minute, I feel like that. And also, if you're watching this, you might not be a movie fan, you might have just come on this by accident, or you might be one of my subscribers. If you want to have a chat about this and put something down in the comments, I'd be more than welcome to chat about it. It might lead to other things, I don't know, but this is me just talking about this. And what I want to do as well with this video, I hardly ever put my stuff on Facebook or Facebook groups or anything like that. I will put this on Facebook and maybe a link to it on my Instagram account as well. Like I say, it's not for publicity or nothing. It's just me being just very honest, and it's something I think I need to make. And also, this is not me being gloomy or downtrodden by it. If anybody knows me, you know that I'm very upbeat. I'm somebody who likes to laugh all the time. I don't look on the downside of anything. All I want to do is just to have fun with everything that I do, and that's my goal. But this one thing, this social anxiety thing, has been a bit of a problem, and I just want to talk about it and hopefully explain things as well, because maybe if you're one of the people I've walked past in a shop and not spoke to them, or went red when I saw you and spoke to you, and this might explain them things. And I just feel like sometimes I do need to explain those sort of things, because there's a lot of people from school especially, and this is mainly the start of it's mainly talking about people at school. I had a great time at school. I met loads of good people. I think that some of them, well, obviously your best days of your life are at school. And I've got no problems with anything that happened in school. I had such a good laugh all the way through it. I had so many mates. It was unbelievable. But I do feel that on hindsight, I did have a bit of this on board, even though back in them days, you would never know that these things existed. You probably just think you were shy. And I do know I was very shy when I was a kid, just with anybody in general. But I think that's a thing that most kids have. So I don't think it's a thing that anybody would have said, hey, hang on, there's something up with this lad. I don't think there's something up with this. Don't get us wrong. It's a kind of feeling that you get. And I'll explain that in this video. This video is going to try and talk about everything. But first I'll talk about growing up and stuff like that. I mean, I'm an only child, which is not a problem. I ain't got a problem with that at all. And I think that maybe that means that you do a lot of things by yourself anyway, possibly. I can always amuse myself, and I don't have to have anybody around us to sort of be doing stuff I can do. I've got plenty of things to do. I've always had hobbies. I've always had interests. I've always been mad keen on collecting stuff, can you tell? I've always been mad keen on collecting records, all that type of thing. Music has been just amazing for me. I like playing music to the best of my ability. And it's been something that's been a constant throughout my life. So, yeah, so growing up, I do think that looking back on it, my first signs of anything, if there can be signs, it can be just sort of like general shyness. But I think that's something you do when you're a kid. I do know that I was out and about all the time. I never stopped in the house once unless I really wanted to. I was playing with stuff. I was out with my mates all the time on my bike. We were going crazy. Used to do all these mad stunts on my bike. Used to jump over anything, jump over people on this whatever bike I was using. I fell off it loads of times, smashed my head in, all that type of thing. That's what you do when you're a kid. And I had so much fun doing it. Like I say, I was never in the house. In them days, you could play out from noon till night and no one cared less. I mean, no one cared less in the way of there was no danger out there, and if there was, it was few and far between these days. That's a thing in the past, isn't it? So I attended school in the 70s and the 80s. I had a great time at school. I had so many good memories, and when I'm talking about school to people, I've got that many stories I can tell about school. Some of them are just absolutely mental. And I think we always say, if we had, and I'm talking to all the people who used to go to school with, if we had mobile phones back in the day, would either be sort of like TikTok, would rule TikTok, or we would be put in prison, because it was just it was nuts, wasn't it? And you all know what we're talking about. We just used to do like crazy things with teachers. They were sort of like, some of them were like your best mates, and you could have a right laugh. And there was nothing really frowned upon. And I do think that there was all fights all over the place, but it's just that's the way it was when it was growing up. And it wasn't anything that I look back on and say, oh, there's a definite thing coming from my childhood. It was to do with social anxiety. In any way, shape, or form, it wasn't. I do know that I was shy at school at times. Maybe, I think when I was shy, I thought if I acted like the class clown, I could kind of have a bit of an identity. And I do know, getting back to school, that the big thing that everybody talks about, and my family they talk about, a lot of my family said that you never got the qualifications you should have because you were always messing about. I've got many school reports saying that this John would be great if he actually paid attention and didn't sort of like be the class clown or just muck about or not attend as well, because I had this great idea. I don't know if any of you remember this, that I had this great idea that if my mum and dad went to work, I could go to school and then have my own key and get back to the house, and then I could just listen to records all day. That was great until I got caught. And I remember that my mum and my gran went to talk to school about like a parents' evening. And when they went there, the teacher said to my mum and my gran, oh, he's a canny lad when he's here. So they said, what do you mean? He comes all the time, so he's never here. So I'll tell you what was the atmosphere like when they got home? And they says, you come here, I want a word with you. So the game was up. So anyway, I think you all know about that. But anyway, that's the sort of thing about, I treat school as fun times. I've got great memories of it, and I think that I can't really put anything down to the social anxiety thing at school, although I do think I was shy. And the best thing about school was all the friends I made. And the sort of worst thing about school is when I meet them now, I'm always embarrassed. Or I've got this anxiety thing, and I'll try and get into this a bit later on. But this is a problem. You think, hang on a minute. I've taught like to the one I want to give a big shout out to in all this is Vincent Rutherford, Vin. And he's always been coming around the house and chatting with us and saying, hey, I've got to come here, you've got to go there, you've got to go and see this person, they've been asking after you. And I say, well, I will, and then I don't. And then he says, and I think, to be honest, there was a time when he nearly fell out with us, because he said, look, are you not going to ever just get out of this rut? And I said, well, I'm not really in a rut, but when it comes to socialising, I kind of am. So anyway, but I've spoken to Vin quite a few times about this, and I've also met Andrew Nolan, Haggis, and hadn't seen him for years, and I've talked to him a little bit about it, and he's a great kid. And I mean, they're all great kids. Everyone at school was great. I had no problems with anybody. But meeting them again after all these years, and also probably in the meantime in a shop and all that, has proved to be a bit awkward, shall I say. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. But so that's a bit about school and just me general sort of growing up. I had a great childhood, and I think that the thing I'm talking about here is maybe come a bit later in my life, when you've got to sort of socialise. Like you go out for nights out, with friends and drinks and all that type of thing. I think that's when it started to sort of manifest a bit. So let's do a huge leap from school to 2017. Now, why 2017? Well, I'll tell you. I was watching something on TV, and there was Rod Gilbert, the comedian, was on, and he was just talking about stuff, and he was saying that he's obviously a comedian. He does stand-up to like thousands of people. But he says he's got a thing called social anxiety. Didn't take much notice of that, hadn't even heard of the word. And he said if he's talking to people, he's really good. But if one person comes up with face to face and asks him something, he can't deal with it. It's as if it's like the worst thing ever, and he's got to turn around and walk off because he gets sort of like anxious. And I thought, hang on a minute, that's me. So what I did was I looked up this phrase on YouTube of social anxiety, and there was all these videos come up, like mountains of them. And I thought, wow. So I went through them all. and I've got a good idea of what it's a bit about. So it seems to be a lot of different things to different people. There's certain things in it that I'm not bothered by at all. There's certain things in it that's purely like me. I think certain people can be really social anxious, and it can like sort of be a bit of a disability that can really knock out the house, and they can't face people, and it can be like life changing. I'm not like that, but I can understand how somebody could be like that, because when I get into my sort of bits that I don't like doing, it becomes a bit of a, oh, I don't want to do that. And it's as if like somebody's saying to you, jump off that bridge. And I'm saying, I'm not too keen on that. And they say, go on, man, it's easy. And I'm saying, it's not, So it's a bit like that. You get that feeling. But with this fella going on, this big sort of comedian who you would think could talk to anybody. If you can talk to 1,000 people, how can you not talk to one person? So it had these people who had social anxiety, and they were getting up on what they'd said on this program was, you've got to, like, if you've got a personal thing you don't like doing, you've got to face it and you've got to do it. And then you realize it's nothing. And I know the things that I don't like doing aren't anything. They're not like, I'm not have to climb up Mount Everest or anything. It's not that. Don't have to jump off the Eiffel Tower. It's other things that, for whatever reason, and I can't really, there's a lot of things in here I can't really explain, but I try and give me best explanations of what these things feel like to me. So he said that obviously he had this thing, and he got these people out, and they went up in they were talking on the podium to people. Now that's another thing that I really hate, and I've hated that from day one. I think actually going back to school, that would be my first thing that I thought. Someone said to me, stand up in the class and say something. That was me thinking, oh, I can't do this. So we, getting back to school, we had a thing at school called an arse feeling, right? Now, what we'd do is, I think that was coined by Martin Wadey. So what he said was, have you ever been in school and somebody says to you, come and write something on the board? And when you're going to that, from your seat to the board, it feels like it's like 1,000 years. And when you're going, it feels like, and it does, and people may identify with this. When you're walking up to the blackboard and to write on with your chalk, you feel as if your arse is going like blowing up, and you can't walk properly. And he said sometimes, I'm laughing here, sometimes when you turn around and you start talking, you feel like your nose is starting to grow and your cheeks are sticking out and all that. And I think that was like the first time when you thought, because everyone on the table identified with this arse feeling, the fact that you just felt like you couldn't walk for. And he says, we used to say when we were up and doing stuff, and you could see someone from the back of the class going arse feeling, as soon as you stood up and all that. It was mad. But anyway, so this is kind of like that. It's like a grown-up version of the arse feeling, if that's a thing. Told you this was going to be humorous. So so getting back to 2017. So I looked through all of this stuff, and I thought, you know what it is? There was about, I think there was lists of like people's had this, people had that. And there were certain things on there that were on there that I felt, and I thought, you know what it is? For the first time in all my life, I thought, that's a thing. It's not like just in my head, or it's something that I'm thinking, am I nuts for thinking this? Am I the only one in the world that thinks this? Because at that point, I thought I was. And when you're like that, you sort of think that this is strange, and you get that sort of feeling that it's like that you can't cope, and you should be able to cope with certain things, which other people say, what? You don't like going into bars with people? You don't like people looking at you? And I'm like, no. And they think, some days go, I don't believe it, but well, it's true. So anyway, so this whole this guy said, this Rob Gilbert said, get up and face your fears. Now, I would say my fears are personally the ones that really get us are speaking in public. Now, what he said was you've got to speak in public to be able to get rid of it. Now, it's easier said than done, If someone said to you, oh, I don't like meeting people, well, just meet everyone you want to meet, and then you're done. It's not that simple. Don't get us wrong. I'm not going to say to you at this video, I'm going to say, hey, look, I've got all the cures for this. I'm going to tell you how this has made me feel easier about things, and it might help you to think, well, I'm not alone thinking these things. So the things that I don't like doing, that I find that make me socially anxious, well, the clue's in the title, socially, even though I can't say anxious, kind of. The clue's in the title, social. Socializing, it's one of the easiest things in the world. Some people can do it for a living. Some people can get up on stage and say all this stuff. Some people can be actors. Some can be musicians and do anything they want. Other people just can't do that. So my Achilles heels are talking in public. And I think that's a big one for most people. I don't think there's many people who can just get up and rabbit something on a stage. Now I do remember when I first went around about 10 years ago, I did, and I tell you what, going back to when I worked in Findus, the worst thing that ever happened to me, or could happen to me, was when you were doing training. Now when you're doing training, what happens? They always say, I'm going to go around the room and I'm going to say, and I want you to talk a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself to the rest of the people. And I just thought, oh God, this was me sort of like even panicking before it even started. And I'm thinking, right. And everyone seems to deliver their stuff really well, really well. It's getting closer and closer. And you're thinking, I'm going to go red. I'm going to mess all my words up. I'm going to say stupid things. I'm going to, I don't know, hiccup anything. I just had this in my mind that I'm just going to be foolish. I'm going to make a fool of myself. And usually, because I'm thinking that, I probably did make myself a little bit like on edge and sort of not come across correctly. And so that's a big thing for me. So speaking of Findus, when I worked there, I was asked to become a trainer. Now the worst thing about becoming a trainer, training people was dead easy, I found. But the problem with training was you had to attend a trainer course. You had to be trained off a trainer to be a trainer. Right? So Margaret Pegg, big shout out for you if you're watching this. You know where I'm coming from, because I had many a chat with you to say, Margaret, I can't do this, because we had to do this presentation. You had to pick someone up that you liked, maybe, I don't know, it was a pen, and you had to explain to the rest of the people, I've got to train you on how to use this pen, or this I don't know, this Blu-ray, this is how it works. And I was really not wanting to do that. It turned out I didn't have to do that in the end. It just didn't work out. I think it was because Findus burned down in the process. We all know how that went, burned down. But anyway, so it's always been a thing that's this whole talking in public has been a nightmare scenario. But with working where I work now, I do talk a lot more in groups, and it's a lot more easier. To be honest, I can do it. I can talk in front of professionals. Now that's proof in the pudding, isn't it? That you've got to face these fears and you've got to do it. So you can kind of say that these are the things that work, and they do work. So what's left for me? Well, the socializing part is probably the biggest one. Now, when I do social, I do see people. It's not as if I sit in my house and just look at this computer screen and do nothing else, or sit there with a Blu-ray is the package I've got. Sit there like that when someone comes to the house. That's far from the truth. I love my family. I see my family all the time, and I have no problems at all with that. It's to me, it's more if you're in a bigger group, like a group that you're sort of unfamiliar with. I can do small groups. I can go around to Deborah. Sometimes we go to her friend's house and we talk to people, and I can be quite free with what I need to talk about, and I don't feel like I'm under any scrutiny. But I do feel that the bigger the group gets, or if it was like a party. Now, I don't drink. I haven't drunk for years. In fact, I took my last drink on my son's 18th birthday. He's now 26. And the reason why I did that was because I didn't really bother drinking. Deborah doesn't like drinking anyway, so I thought, what's the point of me just drinking? I didn't drink much anyway, so I just thought, right, I'm going to stop drinking, so I did. So as well, when you go to social events, everybody's getting a bit tipsy towards the end of the night, and you're standing there stone cold sober. All their jokes, their 10-pint of jokes, are hilarious to them. They're not hilarious to you. I'm not disrespecting anybody who drinks or enjoys life. Not that at all. It's just not that fun when you're with a group and they are like, laughing and carrying on. You're sort of standing out in the corner. You'd only want, and then there's another thing you think that'll just not fit in at certain points, and you'll have to go home early. Another thing, and probably the worst thing for me actually, is when I see somebody outside. Now, there's got to be many people here, especially my school friends, who I've seen in Morrison's or Asda or somewhere like that, or maybe out and about in the Merit Centre or North Shields, Whitley Bay, all that type of thing. And I might have seen you and walked past you. And I'm going to hold my hands up with that. I've done it, right? And I'm not proud of that. It's not something I want to do, because these people that I'm kind of ignoring in a way are people I would consider to be really good friends, and they have been good friends for me since school days. And I do think that this is one thing that really lets myself down. It's not what I want to do. It's what I feel like I have to do. It's really strange. It feels like it's not compulsion. It feels like there's some kind of thing stopping you to go up and say, hello, do you remember me? And to be honest, you may not remember us because of this. Another thing as well, because I've got no hair now, I haven't had no hair for years, mind. People may think, oh, there's John, he's bald now, he's a bit of a slaphead, and he's going to think, I'm going to be going red, and they're going to think, hey, I tell you what, you must be so embarrassed about having no hair. Well, if I'm so embarrassed, I've been embarrassed since I'm about 29. So it's not a thing, it's not that thing. But then again, sometimes that's what you got in your head when you open up to people and think, no, I haven't seen you for 20 years, and I might present in a certain way. I would like to come across like so gregarious and say, hey, how you doing? And, like some kind of playwright and waffle all this stuff off, and, but in reality, I would probably be just standing there and just being a bit kind of, well, people would say, I thought you were a bit of a crackpot at school, and what's happened to you? That's another thing that goes in my mind. And I'm still the same. I still like having a laugh. I've got all these funny movies. I just like going out, having fun. I like all that stuff. It's just the group thing. It's just a problem. So to recap to my school friends, this is a kind of apology as well, and to say that please don't take anything I've done personally. It's just a thing, and I don't know if this sort of I've told Vin about. I'm sure he's told a few people about it. And I've put this thing on Facebook, and maybe people might be hearing it for the first time, thinking, oh, what's this about? Maybe people might be thinking, of course he's got that. We knew that for years. I don't know. This is a kind of bit of an experiment for me. But the fact is, I'm now on YouTube, and the channel's going great. I'm having great fun with it. I'm now starting to meet people that subscribe to my channel or watch my videos. And the first person I met was Gordon. And he came up with, and the first thing I thought of, and this is me being honest, was don't go red. And then you start like thinking, and he was great. I had a great chat with him, and he met his wife, and it was great to see him. And we are going to meet again. Actually, we're going to chat, have a meet in the town and that, and just catch up. And it's not that I don't want to do that. It's just that at that time I was thinking, oh, just don't appear to be red. And the more you think about it, the more you think you're going red. He said he didn't think I went red when I was speaking about it afterwards. But I felt I was, and it just feels it feels like anxiety. I don't get anxiety from anything else. It's really weird. If someone says to me, phone that person up and give them held down the phone, I'll pick the phone up. I'll give them like held down the phone. If someone says to me, pick that phone up and ask for some kind of you need to talk to them about maybe ordering something, I can't do it. It's as if I cannot string the words together. That's why I don't like speaking on the phone sometimes, but sometimes I can speak on the phone, well. Sometimes I can have a good chat with somebody, sometimes I can be very assertive with people, and other times when it gets down to the sort of social things, I can't do any of it. It's really hard to explain. This is just me sitting down in front of a computer, no script, no nothing, just thinking, right, this is the time when I'm going to talk about this. And like I say, with this YouTube, I will be meeting more people. And so to my school friends and also the people I meet off YouTube, people I want to meet, just bear with us. If I do come across a little bit socially anxious, and if you've seen this video, you'll know what's going to happen. I'm going to go there and say, look, I'm a bit red. I bumped into Kelvin and Rob from the band The Preamps the other day, and I said to them, I feel a bit, I'm a bit red and that type of thing. They said I was okay, but it was just in my mind. But obviously, if I'd made this video before and I'd seen them, I could have said, remember that video I put on? Just a little bit, whoa, but I'm all right now. And maybe this video needs to be made for me to do them things. If people have done them, where I can say, look, have a look at this video. Even if I bump into someone in the street, I'm not going to bump them and say, hello, haven't seen you for 30 years since school, but do you want to watch this video? I don't think I'll go at that point, but I could say to them, just say, look, I know I'm going red a bit here. I'm a bit anxious, a bit awkward. But have a look at the video because I put a bit on, and it might help me, and it might help other people. Because if somebody else feels this way, maybe doing things like YouTube is a bit of cathartic exercise in getting rid of or taming this thing. I don't think I'll ever be cured of social anxiety. That's not what I'm getting to here. I'm not going to say to you, I've got the key to get rid of this. I'm not saying that this video is going to make me be better. I'm hoping it will. I'm not one at school reunions and all that. I think they're a great idea. I have been to a couple, but I think the last one I went to was 2007, and I really enjoyed it. Don't get us wrong, and I do consider all my school friends to be some of the greatest people I've ever met in my life. And I wish everybody from school health and happiness, and hope that your lives is great. And I just want you all to succeed. I know we've all got great families and everything's going well for you. I mean, my life's going well. I've got no problems at all with me, my wife, my son. We've got a good life. We've literally got no problems, and it's brilliant. I can do whatever I want to a certain extent. I built 2 shelves, and I can't imagine my wife saying yes to that, but she did, which is wow. So in the future, if I see anybody outside, don't think, oh, here comes the social anxiety man. It's not me saying that at all. It's just me giving a way of an explanation. It's much easier to do this probably than to sort of say video call everybody that I think from school or that I'm going to meet to say, oh, by the way, this is going to happen. This is something I feel like I need to make at this point. And hopefully if anybody's watching this, like I say, from outside and just saying, oh, there's a video about social anxiety, they might identify with this. And what I'm going to say to them is, if you want to get in touch in the comments, please do. I'll try and give you any of my experiences, and I don't get us wrong, I'm no guru. I'm not going to cure you. I'm not going to say that, oh, I've got all the answers for you. I'm going to say that this is a thing. This social anxiety is a thing. And when I talk to people, some people say, oh yeah, I feel like that myself. I feel a bit funny when I'm meeting people. I feel a bit red. I can't talk in public. That's a big one for people. And parties for me is a problem. I don't really like them. I feel a little bit I don't like anybody looking at us. That sounds a bit mad. I'm on a YouTube channel saying, hey, welcome to my channel, and please look at what I've got for you. It's weird because that's what I love that. I want to pick up something and go, look at this. This is brilliant and all that, and let's talk about it and look what I've got. But it's not about that. It's weird to explain that. You would think from watching these videos that that's not a thing. Well, I can't get anxious. I'm just looking at myself. Well, I probably can, but it's not something I can't show on here. If you saw if I took a video and say somebody was coming up as the first time and I took a video of it, you probably will get the feeling of like, oh, look at him. I'm not going to do that, obviously. But when I found out about the phrase social anxiety, it was like a huge light bulb had been put on in my life. I thought, hang on a minute, I'm not alone. This is a thing, and there's a lot of people got it. In fact, a lot of people have got social anxiety or some form of it. Don't get us wrong, I haven't got certain parts of it. Certain parts of it I'm not bothered about at all. I can play drums in front of people. I can play guitars in front of people. It doesn't really bother us. It would bother us if I was singing, because everybody looking at you. With the drums, when I used to play the drums, I can put the drums, the cymbals all over us, and I can hide behind them. So there's always So there's always means and ways to get around these things. And you can make things a little bit more easier. Maybe go to like small gatherings. I don't mind going to small groups. I think the last time I ever went to any school reunion was about 2009. It was about 5 of us. And it's great. And sometimes I see these people on the streets. See Tony Paul, and sometimes I do go red. Sometimes, and I'm speaking to him. He's a great lad. One of the nicest lads you'll ever meet, Tony Paul. But I feel bad when I'm going red, and I'm thinking, oh God, don't go red, man. Tony Paul, you've known him for yonks. You've knocked about with him for yonks, and you feel that little bit like that. I don't know. That's the thing that really bothers us about this. This is the fact that I think these are my friends. It's not as if someone will just like I say, oh, go and talk to him. You don't know him from Adam. These are people I've grown up with. I spent 5 or 6 years with in the schoolyard, maybe more, and been to houses, met the families, everything like that. But yeah, so really the sort of the light bulb moment was when I found about this phrase, social anxiety, looking into it and finding out that I wasn't the only one doing it. And at that point in 2017, I was kind of starting to tell people. I was telling people at work. I told Christine Kahn and Michael about, well, Michael's only got the one name, but you know, Michael, where's me lad is Michael. And I just said to him, I just says, yeah, I says, I just want to talk to you a little bit about this. And they were so supportive, and they just said, yeah, well, it's, you know, kind of, so what? Not like so what, like dismissing it. Just say, yeah, just speak to us, and it's not a huge, like I was expecting to say, what? Yeah, a bit of a, not a you, but they didn't. Of course they didn't, because it's not like that. It's just me. I thought I was strange at the social thing, which is odd because 99% of your life is just normal. until it comes to the social, so you tend to get yourself away from it. So really, if I don't go to do's or anything like that, I don't socialise with people, then I don't have any problems. So I'm not really facing them, am I? That's another thing. And maybe I need to do more of that. And I know I need to do more of that, but at this point, I'm very happy with where I am. I just wanted to make this video. So when this light bulb moment happened in about 2017, when I found out, wow, this is really a thing, and I'm not alone, and I felt quite like a weight had been lifted on my shoulders. I did reach out to some people online, and I did, like, from my past, and I hope that all came across right, because all I want to do was sort of explain about things that happened maybe in the past. I know it's sometimes it was strange things, mainly for going out and all that, and not going out and being awkward about not attending certain things. And I just wanted to apologise for certain things to do with that. I hope that came across right. Maybe I was a little bit too anxious to sort of say, oh, look at this, I've got the answers to all these things that maybe people might have thought was a thing about us, but it wasn't really correct. I'm trying to explain myself, but it's not really too easy to offer explanation of that one. It's just really when I found out this thing about social anxiety, I just went a bit crazy and just sort of like decided to tell anybody who would listen to us. And I want to thank everybody who listened to us when I was talking about that. Would probably think, no, here he comes again, Mr. Social Anxiety. He's got someone else to talk about. But it's quite cathartic to me to actually offload these things that I've been thinking about for years, mind. This goes back to, I think I could sort of more say I've been social anxious. Well, I can't even say it. Socially anxious, I would say, since the 80s, late 80s. That's when it kind of kicked in. I do know that I sort of like stopped really going out with people, school friends, around about the late 80s. So it shows you it's been around for a long time. I didn't have no explanation there. People would just say, oh, you're not coming out tonight? So I don't want to stop in. And they might have thought I was just trying to be a bit more enigmatic, but it wasn't. It wasn't at all. It was because I was feeling a bit more, well, I don't really want to do that. And I think sometimes I'm quite a believer, if you don't want to do something, you don't have to do it. I don't feel like I need to be pushed into anything. But I think it was the social thing, felt like I was going somewhere I wasn't going to be happy, so why do it? So here we are, present day 2022. I'm 54 years old, life's good. I do hope that this video will go a long way to explain to people. If anybody has thought in the past, and I can understand anybody think in the past, what's the matter with him? He doesn't speak to nobody when he's walking past them, or he very rarely speaks to people. I want you to know that it's a thing. It's not just something I made up, or I think, oh, I'm not speaking to them anymore. The people that I kind of do ignore, and I will say I do ignore people because I know what's going to happen, or in my mind I think I know what's going to happen. I'm going to go red, I'm going to be anxious, I'm going to be awkward, I'm going to present as somebody people probably think. People may think it was, well, he didn't speak to me, he's a bit of a snob. That's better than somebody thinking, I spoke to him, and there's something matter with him, he's a nutter. That's my impression. I'm going to feel like I'm going to leave with it. And that's the sort of the social anxiety in a nutshell. You think something's going to happen. You think the worst thing. What happens if I go and speak to them? What happens if I go to a do? I want to make a fool of myself. People are going to look at us, and I'm going to like see all the wrong things. People are going to say, well, he can't speak properly. He's bright red all the time. He doesn't know what he's saying. And the chances are that won't happen, but in your head you think it will. And that's when you get that anxious feeling come along. So, wow. I've really enjoyed doing this video. I knew I had to do this video. I thought, like I say, from day one, this is one to be the one that, I love me videos. I love connecting with everyone. I love me live streams. Live streams is a weird thing to do. Me thinking, I was thinking I can't do a live stream because I can't speak to all these people. But you're not speaking to anybody. You are speaking to people, but you can't see anybody. And maybe that's a thing. I think as well, a lot of YouTubers meet up, which is great. And I like watching the videos of YouTubers meeting up, and it's great to see certain people with certain people, like different channels. You're like, wow, I love how that looks on the screen. I'd watch any one of them. The only problem with me is that, well, I would like to attend, but I don't know if I'll attend many of them, if any. But I will meet YouTubers. Like I say, I'm meeting people, but it's usually only one and two. Maybe not a huge group, maybe not a big, huge social gathering group. That's just not my thing. But it might be in the future, I don't know. I'm hoping this is going to go to where it's going to go. I don't know where the end of all this is going to be. I do know I'm happy. I'm not saying I'm not. I'm not just saying I'm happy to put it on. I am genuinely happy. Got a good life. I've got no problems, but I have got a problem. It's social anxiety. So the strange thing about it is you do a lot of social. There's a lot of social things goes on, and it's so you tend to shy away from them. So that's why, speaking to my school friends again, you never ever see me in any do's that you have, and I know that you have them from time to time. And usually I don't know about them, but Vin gets in touch with us, or used to get in touch with us and says, "Oh, such and such is having the meet up. Will you come along?" And usually I'll say, "Oh yeah, I will," and then I go out of it. But now I'd say to Vin, you know me where I stand on this. And Vin's very supportive and helpful. He says, "Right, fair enough. I understand it's a thing. I'm not going to make you do something you don't want to do," even though he doesn't understand it. I mean, you know how Vin is. He's a right laugh. And but I appreciate that Vin has listened to me when I've told him about this, and I couldn't wait to tell Vin because we've had arguments about it in the past, but we never fell out. You never fall out with Vin. So yeah, Mondo Chelloveck movies. This is the only video I've never spoke about a movie on. Wow, can you believe it? Yeah, so thanks once again anybody who's watched this, and like I say, to recap, I really do apologise to my school friends, especially if I've ever appeared to be standoffish. I don't mean to be at all. I do want to interact with anybody. I like another thing about YouTube is you can interact with loads of people. I'm interacting with more people now than I've ever interacted with, which is mad. And I'm speaking to loads of people. I've got loads of people messaging, which I love. And it's kind of like a way of living out that way of having a social life without having a social life. A bit selfish in a way, but I do want to. I'm not going to say, "Hey, guess what? Let's have a social. Let's have a meet up. Let's have a school reunion." I'm not saying that at all. You might never see me at a social a school reunion ever again, but do know that it's not for any reason other than it's just not my thing. It's not my thing because of the event. It's not my thing because of yous lot. Because, like I say, getting back to school, you were all my best friends, and I'm not trying to be sort of like sugar coated and all that, trying to say, "Oh, look at him," and I'm just being honest. I'm trying to be as truthful as I can. I think making a video of this and putting your cards on the table and just saying, "Look, this is me. This is how I feel. This is why it is. I'm sorry about that. I don't mean to be like that, but I kind of am." And anybody who's watching this who's got social anxiety, you do know that you don't have to. I am apologising for it because I have ignored people because of this whole thing. But I don't feel like I've got to apologise for it. It's just something that is me. I can't stop it. I would like to stop it, but it's there, and I can't really apologise for it, but I can kind of offer the best explanation I can, and the only explanation I can give you is, look, this is it. This is the thing, and I've tried to speak about it just off the cuff. I haven't rehearsed this at all. I've literally thought about it this morning. I put a thing on Facebook this morning, or just this afternoon, and I've spoke about it now. So it's not as if I sat down here for like a year and done loads and loads of clips. This is a one-take movie. I know I've edited some of it out, but it's because I've fluffed some of my lines. But in essence, it is what it is, and hopefully it comes across that way. So once again, thanks for watching. You take care, and I'll see you on my next video. Cheers.